Today we're going to see what might happen if Elon Musk, ripped straight out of his bed, is suddenly yanked through a wormhole and dropped in as the Roman Emperor 2,000 years ago. Elon has no warning, no Teslas, and no SpaceX rocket in his back pocket. Just his brain, his ego, and whatever Roman tools he can get his hands on. He's now the emperor of the biggest empire on Earth, but an empire that's running on slave labor, palm reading, and a slowly crumbling economy. Can he make it thrive? Or does he speedrun a civil war? To answer that, we first need to look at the mess he just inherited. Quick disclaimer, yes, I'm going to try keep the Roman Empire stuff as historically accurate as I can, but this isn't a history lecture, and anything I say about Musk is basically just fanfiction or a joke. In other words, please don't sue me. So, it's 150 AD. Rome is massive. It runs on three things: taxing everyone it's conquered, stealing their stuff, and growing wheat like it's a religion. Most people are farmers or slaves. The rest, they're on free grain. Yep, free food, no job. The economy, built entirely on slave labor. Slaves are the system. Farming, building, mining, carrying, everything. It's brutal, but that's how Rome runs. There's some trade, the place has decent roads, and some engineers have thought of some pretty rock-solid stuff, like concrete. But their inventions are rarely used. And the money? Yeah, that's collapsing too. And then boom! Elon Musk becomes emperor. And that's where the story really begins. What if Elon Musk ruled ancient Rome? He's dropped into the most powerful empire on Earth, and somehow just accepted as the new emperor. He doesn't panic, not even a little. His first instinct? Tell everyone he's from the future. And sure, people want to believe him, because when the emperor says something, you nod. But Elon can tell, no one's really buying it. They're just going through the motions like, yes, another god emperor, very cool, very divine. Please don't kill my family. They've heard the story before, to the point that one emperor, Caligula, made his horse a priest. Bruh. To them, this just sounds like a rerun of Rome's I'm actually a god emperor series. So instead of threatening people with a guillotine, which was a bit confusing since it wasn't even invented yet, Elon does something even more terrifying. He shows them. He grabs charcoal and sketches out a simple machine, a wheelbarrow, something the Romans could have technically built, but hadn't. One wheel, two handles, a single guy moves bricks like three slaves. It's caveman simple, but genius. And that's a crucial turning point. With that little credibility boost, he sets out into the streets to see how his empire actually runs. It doesn't take long to see the problem. The empire barely runs at all. Everywhere he looks, it's just guys lounging around, munching on government grain, arguing about philosophy, and throwing dice in the streets. Sure, there are soldiers, merchants, blacksmiths, some hustle exists, but mostly, this city is running on gambling, brothels, and free bread. And to Elon, that's a crime, because this is now his city. No one's building, no one's innovating, no one's optimizing. The empire is bloated, slow, and dangerously close to collapse. Which for Musk, it means one thing. It's fixable. He starts sketching, planning, fixing, more tools, more upgrades, more things Romans should have invented centuries ago but didn't because slaves were cheaper. He introduces a standardized cart design, one that could be pulled by a single ox, built with swappable parts and actually survives Roman roads. Then it's pulley systems and construction sites, ramps, even better bricks. Slaves still do the work, but suddenly everything's moving faster, cleaner, better. The cruelty hasn't gone away, it's just now running at high-speed gears. And just like that, something strange starts to happen. People begin to gather around his machines. They don't just admire them, they start whispering about them. About him. They call him the god of gears, the prophet of iron. A small group forms, first a dozen, then hundreds. They start leaving offerings at the base of old machines. They work dark robes, speak in hushed voices, and preach one thing. He is not just emperor. He is sent from beyond. At first, Elon laughs it off. Just weirdos. Every empire's got weirdos. It's like the crypto bros he's used to from the times he's come from. All waiting, worshipping his socials to see the next meme he puts out about some shitcoin they can go and bankrupt themselves on. But then, it spreads. The weirdos turn into worshippers. The worshippers turn into a movement. Suddenly, Elon's advisors are whispering about cults. The old priesthood starts issuing warnings. The cult evolves. Graffiti begins appearing on temple walls and government buildings, gears and wheels. They hand out leaflets etched in thin wooden slates, declaring the death of old gods and the rise of a new order. They claim to speak with the machine gods through the tools Elon created. They say they are fulfilling his plan. Elon? He's horrified. He gives a speech in the square, publicly disavowing the cult. He says he doesn't want their worship. The machines are just tools. But it's too late. They don't believe him. To them, he's testing their faith. They double down. Tensions build. Temples report vandalism. Priests are shouted down mid-sermon. Rome is being pulled in two directions. The old ways, tradition, gods in control, and the new code. Machines, change, and a prophet who doesn't want to be one. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the Senate, a new problem brews. Not everyone believes Elon is a god. Not everyone is afraid of him either. Some believe he's a threat, especially those high in the chain of command. After all, it's their slaves who will be less exhausted if they have to do less heavy lifting. Less exhausted means more energy to rebel, and demand to live like the nobles. Senators start pulling at strings. They arrange quiet meetings with generals, bribe temple leaders, and spread whispers in the street that Elon is a false prophet, that he brings ruin, not salvation. Elon, of course, starts feeling the pressure from both sides. The cult sees him as their savior. The Senate sees him as their downfall. And if he doesn't choose a side soon, one of them is going to choose him. Rome is just a beast with too many heads. And here's just one man, with no guarantee of an army and a Senate that doesn't approve of his actions. So he makes a decision. One night, under the cover of darkness, Elon flees the capital. He doesn't go alone. Hundreds of his supporters go with him. Engineers, thinkers, and yes, the cultists. Together they disappear into the countryside to build something new, something untouched. Because Elon may have lost Rome, but he's not done yet. I hope you enjoyed, but why did I choose to end the story like that? Why not have Elon conquer the empire, build flying machines, and reinvent the world? Because realistically, that's probably not what would have happened. I like to imagine that someone making major optimizations in a place like ancient Rome would have been seen not as a savior, but as a threat, especially by some of the people in charge. Progress sounds great until it threatens power. And when one guy shows up with ideas that move too fast, that shift the balance too hard, that make the system run more efficiently, but also make it more unstable, well, those people don't usually get statues. They usually get a knife in the back. So I know, the end is a little anticlimactic. It doesn't end with a bang, but with a quiet exit instead. Because history isn't always about triumph. Sometimes the smartest move isn't conquering the old world, it's just leaving it behind. But what do you think? Do you agree with the way I imagined all this? Or would you have my vision taken in a totally different direction? And if you were dropped into ancient Rome, right now, no warning, no gadgets, how would you try to survive? Let me know in the comments. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!